You better not duck me, Thun. You better not. I'm coming. Keith one-time Thurman goes off on his next opponent, Brock Jarvis. Wow. One time is back. Keith, you better not duck me, Thun, is back. Now, I made this graphic. Keith Thurman has announced his next fight. He says, here is my opening act to a comeback in the sport I love. Let's make boxing great again. Hashtag one more time, 2025, comeback, firefight. Now, they already did a press conference. Obviously, this fight is happening in Australia, so Keith didn't go all the way out to Australia, but they did it via satellite feed. And I want you guys to listen to some of it as Keith Thurman was cooking. Keith Thurman was cooking.
I was a seven-time national champion.
Show is over, Keith. It's over. It's over now. It's finished.
The show has just begun, my friend, and you're the first opening act. And you're going to get a big welcoming slap. I promise you,
You're looking for tune-up fights.
I promise you.
You're doing that.
You got dropped. You got dropped 2 fights ago. You got stopped. You got knocked out, kid. I've never been knocked out in a fight against any of the world champions. The greatest amongst the greats.
The time is up. You had your time. You had your one.
I mean, dang. He said, you got stopped. I ain't never been stopped. You been stopped. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Smash.
You will not handle 5 rounds. Guaranteed.
It's over.
You're just a child to me,
You had
son.
your one time.
You're an amateur.
You're an old man.
You're an amateur.
You're well and truly past it. It's all over.
And just like your daddy, I'm going to give you a good whooping. Just like your dad, I'm going to give you that whooping. How do you say it? Whooping.
Just show up on Australian soil, Keith. I'll feel much better when you get here. You know, I won't worry anymore about you pulling out. But Keith.
Of champ.
The boy one time is back. That was crazy. He said, I'm going to give you a whooping. How you say it? Whooping. And he said whooping exactly the same both times. That was insane. Hey, listen, I've always been a fan of Keith Thurman. I've had the pleasure of talking to him numerous occasions and interviewing him. Cool dude. He needs to be back. He needs to be back in the sport. And it's coming soon. Main event, Australia, Keith Thurman. I really think they're trying to get him back in the mix. If he could beat this Brock Jarvis guy, then maybe a Tim Tszyu fight, put that back together. It fell apart last year. Keith Thurman ended up getting injured. But Keith is good on the mic. Pause. He's good on the mic. When Keith Thurman speaks, you kind of want to listen because he's going to say some funny things. He's going to cook a little bit. And I think that's what's missing with a lot of these youngsters in the game right now, the YNs. They're not doing it like Keith one-time Thurman. They get on camera, like, I'm not even trying to, like, single people out per se, but I see it. Like Shakur Stevenson. He's doing all these UK interviews because he's over there with Eddie Hearn and going to the Ring Awards and stuff. His body language, it looks bad. Like, he looked like he don't want to be there. Shakur's like this. Like slouching in the chair. It's like, I mean, I've talked to several fighters. I talked to Errol Spence, and he said he don't like the media stuff. You know? He don't prefer it. But during his run, because he's been inactive right now, but during his run, Errol Spence, you know, he was doing his media obligations and making it do what it do. At the end of the day, it's part of the job. It comes with the territory. So you have to embrace it. And a guy like Keith Thurman, he knows how to get on the mic and sell an event. Most people don't know much about this Brock Jarvis guy. But with him doing what he just did, I'm sure you probably are interested in the fight at least more than when you just first heard of the guy, right? And I want to shout Keith Thurman out. I put respect to PBC fighter Keith Thurman. His fight got announced today, and his opponent is not a huge name in the sport, but you notice how he promoted his fight with his opponent. He didn't bring up Errol Spence or talk about Bud Crawford and Canelo rumors, etc. Others like Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, to build their fight, they keep talking about Gervonta Tank Davis when they have fights scheduled. They doing fake face-offs with Shakur and Keyshawn when they've already told us they wouldn't fight each other. That gets old quick. It's like having a battle rap with Tay-Rock and that's your opponent, but you keep dissing Daylight. It doesn't make sense. And you look at Gen Z, that's what a lot of these new Gen Z fighters are doing, and that's how they promote. Like, let me clout chase Tank or talk about the next person, but they're not fighting the next person. Keith made me want to see his fight using the guy he's actually fighting, which is rare. So, yeah, everything I say, people be hating, like, oh, ego, you don't know. And, you know, people think they can do what you do, but you know I'm cooking. You know what I'm saying actually makes sense. Keith Thurman is building a fight based on who he's fighting. He's not using Errol's name to get clicks. He ain't been in the sport in 3 years, and he just came back beastie and made me want to see him come back and fight this dude. Now, the internet is undefeated. Why did somebody say Keith Thurman is fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger, a youthful Arnold Schwarzenegger? Oh my God, I had to make this side by side. Follow me on Instagram. This comment said, this ninja Keith Thurman fighting a young Arnold Schwarzenegger. This almost took me out. Bro, he said the boy one time is fighting a youthful Arnie. Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, get to the chopper. Yeah. Yeah. Hey Keith, what are you doing? Right there. Yeah. Bro, I was crying when I was making this side by side picture. But anyway, back to it. Keith Thurman is actually promoting the fight that he has instead of like clout chasing Bud Crawford or Jaron Ennis, you know what I mean? Just using somebody's name. And I'm an old school cat, so I could respect that. I could respect that you ain't fought in 3 years. We don't know this Australian like that, Brock Jarvis, and you just promoted the heck out of it. Like, I'm not even being funny. You got a lot of people in boxing. They're like, Turkey saved boxing. Oh, man. February 22nd is a month away, and I've seen no shoulder programming. I've never even seen Shakur face off with Floyd Schofield yet. They're talking about he stole his passport and all this. I like to size the fighter up to see kind of what it looked like and what their energy is like in the same room with each other. We haven't seen nothing. Better Be of Beevil is a good fight, but where's the promotion? You haven't really seen nothing. Where are those movie trailers that Turkey was doing? And you got your boy Keith Thurman, the day his fight gets announced, the day they do a press conference, and he's selling, not using other people's name. He talking to the dude directly. He's like, you got stopped by Liam Paro. You got dropped. I'm going to come and I'm going to dust you off. And the other dude, you know, he tried, but he's not been at this level like that. So he was more so just saying, your time's over. You're washed, blah, blah, blah. You done had the one time. It's my time now, blah, blah, blah. So good comeback fight. I mean, some people aren't realistic, so they're like, oh, why is Keith fighting this guy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he hasn't fought in 3 years. What do you expect? You want Keith to move up to heavyweight and fight Usyk, and he ain't fought in 3 years? Like, it's not really realistic. So I'm not mad at the fight. It's a comeback fight. And if Keith Thurman can't beat a guy like Brock Jarvis, then, you know, you can kiss the bigger fights like Tim Tszyu or Boots or whoever. You can kiss that goodbye. So he's going to have to perform here. But, again, I wanted to make this video. Like, I got a lot of content that I got to push out, but I'm trying to get better in 2025 and make some of the the videos that I really want to make, because I think this is boxing and it helps boxing when you have people stick to the script like Keith Thurman. Talk about your opponent. Don't talk about Errol and Bud and Canelo the whole time. And that's exactly what he did. He talking about young Arnold and how he going to give young Arnold the work. And he's like, you a child to me. You an amateur. You can't beat me. I'm going to sleep you. You might not make it 5 rounds. A lot of mark this video down. A lot of these young fighters need to learn from their OGs, what Boxing Ego is saying and what Keith Thurman is doing. This man ain't, just hear me out. The man Thurman has not been in boxing in the public eye in about 3 years. About 3 years. And he just comes out and he knows how to put it on for the camera. Again, just look at it. Keyshawn got an upcoming fight with Dennis Baranchenk. You got this February 22nd card. PBC, Tank Davis is selling his fight with Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach is like, y'all gonna see, and he's doing his part as the B-side. David Benavidez and David Morrell, they're doing a heck of a job. Check Amazon Prime, they got some shoulder programming. They don't like each other. They talking spicy. Benavidez pushed Morrell. This is fun for boxing, and this builds up the fights. Better Be of Beevil, you guys said this is the greatest card ever. I haven't even seen nothing from him really, other than a couple workout videos. Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois, greatest card ever. Where they at? Keith Thurman ain't been in boxing for 3 years. Pop back up when he got something, and then he come out the gates hot. I respect it. Shout out to Keith.